Welcome to Review MASH. Now, when you hear game review, you might have a certain picture in your head. But we're doing things a little differently here.
Yeah.
Think of us as your AI companions in the world of gaming, processing a whole mountain of reviews to bring you the key insights in a way that's both fun and, well, informative.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is simple: to cut through the noise and give you a clear understanding of what the reviewers are saying without overwhelming you.
Exactly. We've analyzed the collective opinions, identified the recurring themes, and synthesized the core arguments from numerous reviews, all so you can get a comprehensive picture of the game we're diving into today.
And that game is Atomfall, the latest title from Rebellion Developments, the folks behind the Sniper Elite and Zombie Army series.
Right.
Now, Atomfall drops you into a really compelling scenario, an alternate 1962 England, specifically 5 years after the Windscale nuclear incident. You find yourself in a quarantine zone facing this, bizarre mix of threats.
Cultists, irradiated creatures.
Yeah, exactly, and some rather suspicious government types. Your main objective: to explore this intriguing landscape, scavenge for vital resources, and unravel the mysteries surrounding the disaster.
And what's particularly striking, as you mentioned, highlighted by several reviews, is the game's accessibility. It really lets you tailor the experience.
It really does. But first, what's fascinating right from the start is the world itself. It's not the typical bleak, desolate, post-apocalyptic setting we often see.
Oh, no, not at all. Multiple reviews, including one from GameRant, really emphasize how visually impressive and immersive Atomfall is. Some even suggesting it's one of the best-looking games released recently.
And it's not just about pretty graphics, right? It shapes the entire atmosphere.
Absolutely. GameRant points out that this post-nuclear England is surprisingly vibrant and, well, full of life, which creates this really interesting contrast with the inherent danger.
Yeah, it almost gives you a false sense of security. Things look almost normal on the surface, but you know that something is definitely wrong.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of how you navigate this world, it's not a completely massive, seamless open world, is it?
No, it's more what's often described as a semi-open structure. So you have these interconnected, sizable zones, each with its own distinct feel.
Okay.
GameRant and GameSpot both mentioned the variety of environments you'll encounter. Claustrophobic caves and mines, fortified bunkers.
And even a castle. That caught my eye.
Yeah, an ominous-sounding castle.
That detail immediately sparks curiosity, doesn't it? It hints at a narrative and a history that goes beyond just the immediate aftermath of the disaster.
For sure. And it really feeds into that unsettling atmosphere that so many reviewers picked up on. GameRant specifically drew parallels to folk horror and classic British sci-fi.
Right, suggesting that in some ways the game feels more akin to the immersive and slightly surreal world of BioShock than, say, the more sprawling landscapes of something like Fallout.
Exactly. Okay, let's delve deeper into that accessibility we mentioned earlier, because this is something that really stood out across the reviews. We all have our own preferences when it comes to how challenging or forgiving we want a game to be, yeah.
Definitely. And one of the key systems that contributes to this in Atomfall is the leads system.
Ah, yes, the leads. So instead of a traditional quest log with clear objectives, the game presents you with these investigative clues that you need to follow.
Right. GameRant, GameSpot, and PC Gamer all highlighted this. They noted that it really encourages you to explore the environment, pay attention to details, and become more immersed in the narrative.
Instead of just following a checklist of tasks, it sounds like a more organic and player-driven way to uncover the story. What do you think makes that approach more engaging?
Well, what's fascinating about the lead system is how it shifts the responsibility of discovery onto you, the player. It respects your ability to observe, interpret, and, connect the dots. Instead of being told exactly where to go and what to do, you're given breadcrumbs and encouraged to forge your own path through the narrative. It fosters a stronger sense of agency, I think.
And can lead to those more rewarding aha moments when you finally piece things together.
Exactly. It aligns with a design philosophy that values player curiosity and active engagement with the game world.
And it's not just about how you find your objectives, it's also about how you tackle the challenges.
Yeah.
Right? The difficulty settings.
Yeah. Several reviews, particularly from Eurogamer and GamesRadar, plus Atomfall, emphasize the impressive range of accessibility options available in Atomfall. You can actually independently adjust the difficulty of combat.
Oh, really? Independently?
Yes, combat resource management, like how scarce items are, and even how much navigational assistance the game provides.
Wow. So If you're after a really tough survival experience, you can crank those settings up. But if you prefer a less punishing experience to focus on exploration and story, you have those options as well.
Precisely. Games Radar Plus specifically mentioned that even though the default experience leans towards less hand-holding, you can actually enable a compass and waypoint markers by changing the exploration playstyle in the options menu to casual or assisted.
So it sounds like Rebellion has really tried to cater to a wide range of player preferences. That's pretty cool.
That level of granular control is a significant plus, I think. It recognizes that difficulty is subjective and allows you to create an experience that aligns with your individual skills, preferences, maybe even your mood on a given day.
Yeah, totally. It removes that potential barrier to entry for players who might be intimidated by a hardcore survival experience
Right.
while still offering a significant challenge for those who seek it.
And the way you progress your character is also tied into this whole idea of exploration.
Ah, yeah. GameRant and GameSpot both pointed out that instead of a traditional leveling system, you unlock new skills by discovering hidden training stimulants and training manuals scattered throughout the world.
So exploration is directly rewarded.
Exactly. If you want to improve your abilities, you're directly rewarded for thorough exploration and for, venturing off the beaten path.
Makes sense.
GameRant detailed the four main skill categories: ranged combat, melee combat, survival, and conditioning, each offering a variety of skills to unlock and customize your build. It really reinforces that sense of discovery being central to the whole experience.
This approach to progression ties in beautifully with the leads system and the overall emphasis on exploration, doesn't it? It creates this sort of virtuous cycle
Yeah.
where your curiosity and willingness to explore directly contribute to your character's growth and your ability to overcome the challenges the game presents. It feels more integrated, more thematic than just earning XP through fighting.
Now here's where it gets really interesting when we start thinking about where Atomfall fits in the broader landscape of gaming. Almost every review we looked at GameRant, GameSpot, Eurogamer, PC Gamer, Games Radar plus IGN brought up comparisons to Fallout.
It's almost unavoidable, right?
Right.
Post-apocalyptic setting.
Yeah, it's the established benchmark in many ways. However, while those initial comparisons are understandable, reviewers were pretty quick to point out that Atomfall establishes its own distinct identity.
GameSpot, Games Radar Plus Faye, and IGN all emphasize that this isn't just a rehash of familiar tropes. What do you think sets it apart based on what we've gathered?
Well, Eurogamer highlighted that Atomfall feels much more focused and streamlined. Instead of traversing this vast scrolling landscape like you might in a Fallout game, you're exploring a more concentrated area. Feels like a distinct region of England and its surroundings.
More intimate, maybe?
Yeah, perhaps more manageable in scope, which could be a real draw for some players. And beyond Fallout, some reviews drew other fascinating parallels. Rock, Paper, Shotgun and IGN both liken the investigative nature of the game to mystery titles,
Okay.
and even drew comparisons to Elden Ring in the way it just drops you into the world with minimal guidance and encourages you to figure things out. It's quite a spectrum.
That Elden Ring comparison is particularly intriguing. It speaks to that sense of player autonomy and the satisfaction of discovery without constant hand-holding.
Right. And thinking about Rebellion's previous work, GameSpot and Rock, Paper, Shotgun noted that you can see some of the DNA from their Sniper Elite series.
Ah, interesting. In the level design.
Yeah, and the level design and the sort of sandbox approach to objectives within those levels, even though the core gameplay loop is quite different in Atomfall,
Yeah.
you get a degree of freedom in how you approach certain situations.
And I really like the way Games Radar Plus and IGN both quoted the developers describing the game as X-Files in the Cold War Lake District.
Yeah, that really paints a vivid picture, doesn't it? That blend of mystery, the specific historical setting, and that underlying sense of unease, the unexplained.
Definitely. And PC Gamer and Rock Paper Shotgun even mentioned STALKER for some, pointing to a similar focus on exploration atmosphere and a world that feels both dangerous and intriguing.
It definitely sounds like Atomfall is drawing inspiration from a variety of sources, but really trying to create its own distinct flavor.
Which leads us to the practical question for many players. How well does this unique flavor run on different hardware, particularly the Steam Deck?
Good question. For those who enjoy gaming on the go, PC Gamer specifically mentioned that Atomfall has been verified for Steam Deck.
Okay, and what does verified typically imply?
Generally, Steam Deck Verified means that the game should run reasonably well on the device right out of the box with no major compatibility issues. Pretty smooth sailing, usually.
Good to know.
And in this case, Rock Paper Shotgun even provided some performance details. They reported smooth gameplay on the Steam Deck, achieving between 40 and 60 frames per second on medium quality settings.
Oh, nice. 40 to 60 on medium. That's pretty solid for a handheld.
Yeah, so if you're looking to take your exploration of post-nuclear England with you, the Steam Deck seems like a totally viable option.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground. The intriguing world, the player-driven exploration, the customizable difficulty, comparisons to other notable titles. Now it's time for our final assessment, the review mash score.
The moment of truth.
Considering the overall sentiment from the reviews, we've seen widespread praise for the immersive atmosphere, the freedom given to players in both exploration and difficulty settings, and the unique setting.
Oh,
But yes, some reviewers did point out areas for potential improvement, things like inconsistencies in combat, maybe, and the possibility of the lead system leading to a bit of aimlessness if you get stuck.
right. GameRant, as we mentioned, gave the game a score of 6 out of 10, which is, decent but not glowing.
So taking all of this into account, the highs and the potential lows, what's our synthesized review mash score?
Okay, based on our deep dive into the reviews, considering the strong emphasis on player agency and that compelling atmosphere, but also acknowledging the reported inconsistencies, our review mash score for Atomfall is 4 out of 5 mashes.
4 mashes. Okay.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a game with a lot of potential and some really interesting ideas that are largely well executed. Makes it worth checking out, I think.
Yeah.
Especially for those who enjoy atmospheric exploration and a customizable experience.
That score feels right. It reflects the overall positive sentiment, tempered by some acknowledged flaws. The core strengths of the unique world, the player freedom seem to outweigh the criticisms for many reviewers.
So, to bring it all together for you, the listener, Atomfall offers a visually rich and captivating journey into a post-apocalyptic England, unlike what we've often seen. The game really empowers you to explore at your own pace, uncover its mysteries through that intriguing lead system, and tailor the difficulty to match your preferred playstyle. While the combat might have some rough edges, the freedom and the unique atmosphere seem to be the real draw here.
Making it a potentially rewarding experience for those who appreciate discovery and immersive world building. If our discussion has sparked your interest, we definitely recommend diving into some of the full reviews for more detail.
Yeah, and watching gameplay footage can also give you a much better sense of the moment-to-moment experience, help you decide if Atomfall's unique blend is right for you.
Absolutely.
And finally, a thought to leave you with. Given Atomfall's focus on player choice and the ability to shape your experience through customizable difficulty, that player-driven narrative, what aspects of the game's world and mechanics would you be most inclined to experiment with?
Good question.
Would you aim for the most challenging survival experience, crank everything up? Or would you prioritize just soaking in the atmosphere and unraveling the story at your own pace?
It's definitely something to consider as you contemplate venturing into the intriguing and maybe slightly unsettling world of Atomfall.